Hey everyone, how are you all doing? A bit later than normal this stream, you can tell because it's not like burning bright white out there. Um, but yeah, I am good and ready to go. We'll see. Yes, hello Corey. I think today, well, we're going to be working on chapter 6. I wasn't a huge fan of how chapter 6, when we did the very rough first draft, went. So I think what I might do, hello Nikki, is add a scene, stick that up there, and I think just start from scratch. I want to see if I was like, if past Kate having shower thoughts actually wrote these down. Hello Emery, how are you doing? Um, and yeah, sample chapter. Maybe it was in my chats. You know when you like, you've had a chat at some point and you just can't remember what it is. Um, yeah, okay. So I think today's going to be a bit of problem solving. Let's read through. I'm going to read through the original chapter, see what I like and dislike, just in terms of general pacing. Um, oh, okay. So I'd already started. This is something that I'd already started writing, I think, by myself. Okay, good to know. Um, if anyone has any ideas of, I wanted to say like, she can make out the as they neared, she can make out a chunk the size of a. My mind is thinking vehicle, like something that's like bigger than a person. I can't think necessarily of what, if any, public transport they have in the Bavarian sphere, so I'm not really sure what to go for this. So if anyone has any ideas of something that I could compare the size of Hole to, that would be amazing. Um, um, Hello, Diana. Hello, Marcello. I think that you both are new. Welcome. These are the Write With Me's. So they're kind of like a. Well, I'm writing. You can all write along, or you can listen to my random rambles. And I'm happy to like answer any Novelcrafter related questions that you have. Like if you want to see something, um, or just yeah, general like things. Like I'm happy to answer whatever. Nikki says, would they have something like hand carts or wheelbarrows to help move produce? I like that. Yeah, that would make sense. Some kind of carts for moving things. I'm I'm assuming that this city has been built on a flat patch of land because it makes it easier to put a blooming glass dome over it. Um, let's go with shanty cart. I'm imagining that. Hello, SSN. I'm imagining that a shanty cart is part cart, part two-story house, and like like street sellers will have their like little like cubby for sleeping kind of above it. That's my thought. Not entirely sure yet how that will play out. Okay, that's a good like thing to put in there for now. As if oxygen refresh didn't freeze off the balls already. Now they'd have another. Um. So yeah, I. Okay, my friend has a shanty boat, so a shanty cart works. Amazing. And I think like kind of because this is like it's a very weird like sci-fi crossover of like some technology really works, but a lot of it like doesn't. And like there's only one city and it's enclosed. So it's not as if they're gonna have like public transport loops or anything like that. Like they're not gonna have vehicles if they're in a friggin' sphere that would like um suffocate with all the fumes. Like they gotta be pragmatic. So I'm thinking like yeah, this'll work. Um yeah, so originally in the original like draft, um it had just a random explosion. I don't think I really looked at what could cause this. So I might do a bit of a brainstorm on like what this scene is about. Like it's not what it's about, what the damage is. So I'm gonna chat with scene. Uh Nicodemus, go to the Hydro Gardens to fix to help after an explosion. Please help me refine what the actual damage is. Let's start with brainstorming 10 ideas for items that have or items slash areas within the hydro gardens that could have been exploded, doing enough damage to cause the scene at the beginning of the novel, but not enough to destroy the building or any major associated infrastructure. That'll work as a start. Okay. It's just reading through. Okay, nutrition distribution system. So a key component that disrupts growth, but not the entire garden. Hydroponic beds. Okay, interesting. Ooh, hello. Oh, thank you, my husband. Yeah, I'll just grab it. It's fine. Thank. I got my Clooney. Okay. Hmm. Are any of these ideas speaking to you guys? Um. Oh, Corey, your drink's gonna arrive when my tie does. When you go and get yours. Damage here with strain resources, but not cause immediate failure. Okay. How about hear me out, guys? if the water filtration system is damaged, um, I quite like the idea of this because it ties into chapter 5 where she was fixing a sprinkler that was broken. I can't remember how that got fixed. I'll have to read back and check. It's been a week. But our thinking, maybe we could have that related. And so whatever she did in the previous chapter is actually helping her with the sprinklers. Like the sprinklers are helping her with this. And it's kind of like how this one moment that seemed very like insignificant actually then is coming to help her when doing the repairs. Okay. I like that. I think that can work. Let's brainstorm. Okay, so I like idea 3 with the water filtration system. It can create a link with Delilah in chapter 5 trying to repair a sprinkler. Let's brainstorm further. Where might the water filtration system be located? What effect would using a detonator on it have to the overall gardens? Are there reasons workers and civilians would be running away? The explosion also destroyed part of an external wall. Now, this is probably too much information to just be shoving in it, but I kind of want it to use as much of the ideas that I'm having on the fly as possible because I like my idea and yeah, it's my story. You know, that kind of thing. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it improves on the idea is what I'm hoping. Okay, it's giving me points. That's good. I like that. But yeah, how have your weeks been going? What are you all working on at the moment? Is anyone still working on their monthly muse story? Okay, right. Okay, sure. Along an outer wall on the ground level near the main hydroponic beds. Corey's working on the next monthly muse. Well, yeah, you know we've got to constantly keep that going. We've got some amazing ideas for September for like how it's all going to be like laid out. So keep your eyes peeled. I'm really excited. Um, and we're also like if you want to do the bingo later on, you can. It's all staying up on the website. So you can join in the fun whenever you want. Okay, location. Uh, okay, effects. Localized flooding. Emery, I knew LLMs had a lot of bias, but I had no idea how much bias there was for writing romance. Oh, go on, tell me more. I mean, considering that I write very non-romantic romance in that it's like, uh, not the main focus of the story, even though it's a romance story. Anyway, I'd like to know what LLM's biases are, because I think that probably shows differently to what I write. Nikki says that she's trying to find the balance between too many and not enough words in my outline. Yeah, I mean, I'm the type of person who could easily do a 30,000 word outline for a 100,000 word novel, not including beats, like just as a I'm writing a summary for a chapter. Um, if you're talking about beats specifically, then yeah, we can go into that too. Hello, cats. Nice to see you as well. Nice to be able to share time with y'all. Um, yeah. So yeah. I suppose it depends if your outline is being shown to the LLM or not. Like, if you're using your outline like in Novelcrafter to give past context, I try and get away with as little as possible because I don't want it to clog things up. If something from a past chapter, like I really want it to think about, I'll like stick a reference into the beat or something. Like I think that's kind of how I deal with anything I think might be missing. But otherwise it's just yeah, just like chucking things out there and I'll like keep things succinct but with all the information. So I'll often like cut bits out that are things that happened in the story and like the summarized prompt is right to pick it up, but it's not like crucial to the story and won't impact like obviously everything should impact on later bits of the story, but like it some things don't matter. So yeah. Okay, effects. Localized flooding. With sudden loss of pressure. Swear. Um, okay, so maybe did I reasons to leave. Threat of threat of electrocution, fear of secondary explosions. Emery says, I mean, one of my characters demisexual and the AI understood in the moment, and then 2 seconds later the character is giving bedroom eyes or feelings of yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, sexual, yeah. To AI's credit, humans have a really bad understanding of demisexuality. Um, but so I can see where the bias comes in, which is quite unfortunate. But yeah, that is very frustrating. Like when you've got characters wanting to like I think like yeah, anything if like someone has like a low sex libido or whatever is very hard to convey to an LLM. It's like, wait, what? They don't want to reproduce and have what is going on? And you're like, it's okay, Claude. But yeah, no, that is frustrating, Emery. I feel your pain on that. Okay. Okay, so how can we title in chapter? What might occur? Perhaps also considering. Presumably Nuke must have clearance to go in and fix. Okay, so I'm asking Claude just like a bunch more questions to try and be like, okay, we're getting our idea and just kind of like funneling in until we've got a coherent chapter, which is easier said than done. Let's take a look, see. Scene setup. They arrived to see other workers evacuating. The meet point could be a large open area within the Hydro Gardens complex, but away from the damaged section. Guards keeping workers contained. Okay, so there's nothing there. So show guards ring up employees. Delilah over a brief argument with an aristocrat who was visiting the gardens. Stay, but the guards are suspicious of everyone. Okay, I like the idea of hazard control. So I'm wondering now, maybe Kira's still hiding within the building and Delilah going and helping fix the building is like then part of what comes, like, you know, part of how Kira gets found, maybe? I'll have a think about that. Oh, hello, Christina. Yeah, I've actually been away during the day today and I didn't want to miss out on the stream, so I thought I'll do it in the evening. And you know, give some time. I've been on a dressmaking course actually, but you know, or pattern drafting today. But I was like, I don't want to miss out on the stream. I enjoy doing the streams with you all. So, you know, if you have any questions while I'm live, feel free, hit them at me. But yeah, no, this is fun. I'm a lot more awake than I thought I'd be for 7 p.m. I know that sounds wussy, but I go to bed at 9. I'm like a proper morning bird. This is like, you know, unreal. I've got so much caffeine in me. I will be having a crash later, I'm sure. Um, okay, emergency services, hazard control. Okay, so Kira Delilah's fixing the issue. Perhaps helps in Kira getting caught unintentionally, of course. Okay, I think I've got some enough ideas to start writing. Okay, I might just write within this chapter, so I'm going to delete the other one. Right. Okay, you see I have my Codex edition for my notes. Okay, that's I've done that. Has a controller at the perimeter. Keeping and watches out. As they pass the huddle of employees, Delilah overhears an aristocrat arguing with a guard, demanding to be let out. The guard says that all are to stay until the culprit is found. Delilah tries to see if Kira is amongst the workers. She is not. Delilah hopes that Kira isn't due to work today. Okay, let's see how that goes. Alright, Kat says, I'm having fun with the August challenge, but I'm having a problem with humour. Everything the AI generates, prose and dialogue, just falls flat. Any ideas for a good prompt to help AI around? Okay. What kind of humor are you going for? I think is the first thing to ask. Because obviously there are very different types. Like, there's things that are more punny, more play on words, sarcastic humor, or just like humorous incidents. If it's the latter and it's like humorous incidents, I would perhaps try and get the AI to be like, talk things through a bit first. Like, maybe go and chat and like talk through the scenario and get like a plan of action for the specific funny bit and then have it act out, like kind of work out a bit more beat for beat. Like that's what, so for fight scenes, I will always discuss that. Okay. Let me have a think. Let's go. Prompts. Let me clone the general purpose prompt. Okay, let's go with and heartwarming humor. Your priority is to Okay, Diana asks, do you have any step-by-step tips or tutorials for videos? I have, for beginners. I have autism slash ADHD and struggle with writing sometimes, even though I love it. I mainly write young adult stories, age 13 to 18. Okay, I'll get to that after this. I will have a thinky. SSN says, yeah, favorite humor author. Then put that in the pro style. Um, okay. I mean, if you have any, we can also try Cat. If you've got a favorite humor author, we can try that after this. I mean, I'm just going to try a basic general purpose with this in, and we're going to try it in this story and just see how it does. Let's see how it takes this serious scenario and tries to make it witty and campy. I have no idea how well it'll work. As per. Okay, that wasn't great, but you know, it wasn't a very humorous situation. Okay, let's get a uh, new scene. Stick it at the top so we have no other story bothering anything. We are going to do some complete pantsing. Let's go with Adam and Billy and Elsie are off to the farm. Various shenanigans ensue. I have no idea how this is going to work. We're just going to see. This is kind of how I go about doing the prompting, just like small iterations and changing things. That's amazing. Um, the Claude is like, I can't write a witty romp. Okay, fine, I'll put it in another story. God. That's hilarious. Um, what do I have? Max, that'll do. Let's see if it does it this time. Inadvertent humor, I love it. I mean, this is hilarious. Like, I don't know if it's quite the tone that you were wanting, Kat, but I mean, I'm having fun reading it. So I think if you're wanting to direct the yeah, Claude was having an existential crisis. It was like, no, I can't put humor in this. Like, why are you trying to make this funny? This is a tragic story. But yeah, with this, I mean, I think like what this experiment like has kind of said is that um if you really want anything, stick it in the first line of your prompt. Like we've got our general purpose thing. Just try and make that where the majority of your prompting is in terms of tone. Um okay, yeah, SSN also asks drunk Claude, funny up a scene. I mean, yeah, I can imagine the drunk Claude is quite rude as well or raunchy. So you might wanna make a different persona for Claude in that instance. But yeah, so I would say that would be how I would go. So Diana, are you Are you a discovery writer or a plotter? I think is my first question. Because how I would advise are two very different or two very different like ways of going about things. Um, so yeah, if you could let me know whether you're more a plotter or a discovery writer slash pantser, that would be amazing. Oh, good luck, Kat. Let us know how it goes. I would be very interested in hearing. I think it'll be fun. I think you could get some good stuff out. Like I think iterations of prompts and like now you can archive them and like subgroup them. I think they're both really good ways of kind of working on iterating a prompt and comparing back and forth. And you can like get rid of most of the models. Different models as well might find different better or worse like in terms of prompting. So what might work for one model might not work for another. And always use like the general purpose prompt as a baseline. So for whatever your beat is, see what the base general purpose prompt does and then what your edited prompt does, so you can kind of see if it's just an inherent funniness in the beat or not. And you could always try it with different scenarios. You could have like one beat that's intentionally funny and one that isn't, that kind of thing as well. um yeah, I'll finish this and then I'll get, if I've not heard back from Diana, I will give like a brief overview of both planning and pantsing. Mm. Okay, plotter. I have a few story ideas. I like coming up with characters as well, writing their backgrounds and personality. Okay, so for you, I would say what you want to do first is your codex. You want to get that set up, put all your ideas in. Like, um, there definitely is the recommendation that less is more, but I think from a starting point, if this is your first time, put just use the codex as like a place to put your ideas in about your characters, your locations, lore, world building, and you can refine it as you go. A lot of the bigger models now, they're big enough to be able to and cheap enough, especially if you're using like GPT-4o mini, that you can have these extensive codexes. Obviously, as time goes on, you might want to edit things, but for your first like forays, just use this as a starting point. um I often find that as I'm coming up with characters, that then helps bring the story along. So you could either then, since we have the codex here, um, and then as you get ideas, you could either store them in snippets or you could talk with chat about them. And as you're talking to chat, you can refer to the codex entries you've already written to kind of start fleshing out your ideas and getting a feel for the story. So codex first, fill in everything that you already know if you've already got these like immense worlds and that's what you enjoy doing. I always kind of try and say whatever. I always, well, like in my own writing, I use AI for the stuff that I enjoy least. So often that is some bits of editing. If I want to bridge the gap between two pieces I've written and I just need like a rough draft that I can then rewrite, like in terms of like negative space, like you can often find what you want by reading what you don't want. And if like here, and I just want um I want some ideas and someone to talk to about it, and there's no one else in the room. Find Whereas anything that you do enjoy doing, like if you love character creation, fill up your codex by hand, write everything that you want, and then you can always like use AI to help refine it and make it into a more like legible piece if you need to. But keep the things that you enjoy doing front and center. So codex, start chatting, and then as you get more and more ideas, you can start filling in the plan interface. I'm pointing at it as if you can see it. Let me move my mouse. This bit, the plan interface. You can take that and begin putting in your chapters. You can, if you would like to plan out the entire thing, you can do as I have here and like write it all out. Or if you kind of like a hybrid, you can like plan out a few chapters, write some, or um even more how I write often is I'll write random scenes and then bridge the gaps between them. So again, you can do that. Like Novelcrafter gives you the flexibility for all of that. Um, in terms of like housekeeping and general best practices, I I tend to have different types of scene summaries before I've written a scene compared to when it's finished. Like before I've written a scene, the chapter summary or the scene summary is like very much an info dump of everything about the scene that it's almost like the beats. It doesn't get used as beats. It's never going to get seen by the AI in when you're working in that scene. But it's like for me, it's like my guide of like knowing what's going to happen. Once I've written the scene, however, I will condense that to the most crucial bits and the bits that actually in future scenes I will want to reference back to. Because AI is very good, especially again, the bigger models, it's really good at picking up bits and pieces. And so I think that is a good rule of thumb. And also, prices add up, tokens, yada yada. So if you're conscious of that, it's something to bear in mind. Um, in terms of the writing itself, um, you will find that you have your own beat style. I know Space has very brief beats when she writes, kind of like a sentence or so, or a sentence or two. Whereas I'm much more I like to I like to have more control. I think I'm more of a plotter and a high level kind of like maintenance person, which is fine. Like I think both ways work well with AI. It depends on how much control you want of the output. The more control you want, the more information you're going to have to input into the AI. But you also don't want to put in 100-word beat, and then when you only get like 250 words out and it's mostly the same as your beat, that's going to happen. Like you need to kind of make sure that the input that you're putting in is kind of proportional. Um, And finally, one of like the major rules when writing with AI, I say rules like kind of just things that happens is the quality of your input is directly proportional to the quality of the output. Like if you give a really vague and a vague beat or a vague question or anything that's not clear, or the AI is not going to understand, or it might misinterpret, it will do something that you don't want. Like it won't give you the response that you're wanting. Like think of AI as like you're trying to explain something to a toddler. Like sometimes you really do need to be very specific if you have a specific image in mind. um yeah, so Angie at Bite Size Booksmith is really good. I really enjoy her videos, and she has some really good templates and kind of example codices and novels that I think are really good for kind of if you work better through having like an example novel and being able to see, okay, this is how they've done something, and you can then do this with that and move this here and there. Like that kind of stuff is really good for kind of getting kind of a grips of how you then apply it to your own work. And so if you are like a kinesthetic learner, having that open and like looking through it and kind of being like, okay, this is what goes where, would be valuable. Also, you could, this would be a bit more time consuming, but you could always find one of the streams and go through as I'm doing stuff and do it, but with your own story. So, like, as I'm writing or like asking questions about my characters, you could ask the same questions regarding your characters, or with anyone's video if they're showing writing in Novelcrafter. And that way you're kind of putting what is being shown and making it relevant to yourself, but also learning and getting the planning and stuff done. Um, if you're not already on the Novelcrafter Discord, I would also 1000% recommend that you join. It's in the description below. And that is like, it is a beautiful place. I love our Discord community, and they are really like, if you need an answer, someone will usually get back to you like super quickly. Like they're really sweet. So I would definitely hype them up. And breathe. Is there anything that other people would think that if anyone else has any advice for Diana, please spam the comments and like the chat. Like let's boost her up, get things going. Any advice you have for super duper beginners? Oh, and also you might, if you're writing young adult fiction, that would be totally something that I would stick in the prompt. Like to give an idea of tone and stuff, or you could put it as a um uh story genre style guide, one of those. Emery says that they'd been lost without the Discord. SSN says nerdy novelist has a very detailed start to finish video on writing a Novelcrafter. Yeah, there's some really good videos out there. Nerdy novelist, but it says Booksmith. The again on the Discord, there's a feed where creators can put when they make videos on Novelcrafter to like show them to people, so that everyone in the Discord is aware of them. Oh, Nikki, I'm so glad. She says my monthly muse streams were a great step by step following along with. Yeah, I think a short story is a great way to start writing, especially if you're learning a new software, because you're starting off with something that is like, it's short to start with, so you can kind of you can get through a process without having like the 90,000 word slog. You can like more quickly apply all the techniques that you're learning, and the plotting stages can be just as detailed as with like a larger novel, but you've got a much faster pace, and it's yeah, I think that yeah. So the monthly muse series, it's like a mini series on the channel. You'll be able to find it in the live section. That's a good way of just seeing kind of basic how to set up a story and like your very basics. I believe I wrote it all in the first stream and then edited in the second two. Or I wrote most of it in the first stream. So yeah, so you'd be able to get through it. They're not super long. Like they're kind of like either an hour and a half or 2 hours, but there's only three of them. So that's probably the least intimidating scene, the least intimidating playlist. And breathe again. Oh, you're very welcome, Diana. Yeah, Novelcrafter is like, it's one of those things that it's. So I was here from like the first week of the alpha testing. So I've spent since like October or whatever, like almost a year now, using it every day. So it's very easy to kind of sometimes forget that there is a lot to Novelcrafter. Like, it is powerful, man. Like, we have so much like for organization, and then there's the AI features. And honestly, find the thing that you like most. For you, it's probably the codex. Start with that, learn that, fill it in. If you want to do some writing, great. If not, you can just kind of slowly get to know each section. A lot of the functionality of Novelcrafter, like first and foremost, Novelcrafter is a writing app. We have AI features, and I use a lot of them during these streams because it's what a lot of people are interested in. But at its core, you do not need an AI key in order to use Novelcrafter. Like the codex, the matrix, all the writing features, the review features are all there, and they don't use AI to run them, and they are like you can use them in handwriting, self-writing. Okay, so Kat says that Sarah Cannon at Heart Breathings has a lot of wonderful writing and planning advice. She is a young adult paranormal writer. Yeah, if you, I think like honestly, any tips for writing without AI are applicable to writing with AI, because you need to know what is good writing to be able to tell when the AI is going off track. So totally like go there or any other resource that you've got, have a look, and you will find hints and tips for writing that you can then apply to when you're setting it out for this. Okay. So I have, for those who haven't been here much, I have a Kate's voice prompt that basically, instead of using um, a set of instructions for how to write, I give it a chapter of my writing, usually the chapter before the chapter I'm on, and ask it to use that as a guide and to like maintain the same style. It does a good job. It's not always like the best, but it does a very solid job. Um, Although I do sometimes wonder, like when it does these really long paragraphs, like I suppose I have some of them in my writing as well. So let's have a look. Let's take. Um, 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 I mean that's pretty obvious. The yeah. Okay, I don't need that. Wide frightened eyes, and more than one. And sometimes with AI, you just have to take the last 200 words and pop, delete. Although, I will undo that. I might get that. I'm going to edit this like later. I just want to Continue conversation, she overhears. Delilah and Nicodemus don their goggles and hazard. What was it? What did I call them? Hazard something. Hazard control. Control officer into the building. Inside the now I'm looking at my chat to kind of fit. So this might be some thing where I put this that we did the chat into a codex entry. I might just call this damage. Scene 5. Scene. Or hydrograms. I want to add some more to it, so I will. So Darkest says AI is bad with paragraph 1, good paragraph 2, decent. Yeah, paragraph 3. Yeah, it's like I think of AI responses as a sandwich of I don't know, like seeded wholemeal super healthy bread. The top one, but like on the inside is like the best filling ever. Just get rid of the healthy sandwichy bit and just like eat the nice, delicious, unhealthy good writing. That's not a good analogy, but water filtration. Main water filtration. Okay. Describe how the direction of the See, this would also be a moment where you could use like a codex edition, and add in about the stuff that would also work. Keep the tension high. Who claims he let's try that. I'm gonna sort out that spelling first. I'm not a great fan of that conversation. Just stuff I can work with here. Nicodemus is such a buzzkill. I don't think a guard would be like giving conclusions. Okay. Okay. Um. Okay. Does anyone know about anything about electricity? Now, my thought is that usually it's when you're like standing and like you can be ground, like you're earthed, that electrocution happens. because the electricity is going through you to the ground. But like birds stand on power lines all the time and are fine. So if she's hoisted up and has like rubber gloves on, or like, insulated gloves, she might be okay. Um um I mean, yeah, getting shocked hurts. That's what I'm trying to think of avoiding it. Uh, I'm starting to flag a bit, but we will keep going for another 10 minutes, I think. Um, we won't get this chapter finished, but I think there's more work that needs to be done in general on it, so that's fine. Like, this is pretty much the first draft. Okay, I like the idea of a damaged hydroponic bed. That could work. Um, oh, um, not false ceiling, not control room. Okay, let's go with her hiding in a damage. I'm just deleting the stuff that's like equivalent to what we've. That moment when you accidentally uncover your sister's treason. this is a thankless job. Um, I don't know if that's gonna work, but you know, we can see. We'll see. Ah, bloody fantastic, she shouted back, her voice dripping with sarcasm. I've always wanted to play an acrobat in a sodding disaster zone. Okay, that works for now. It did stop, to be fair. It did the there you go, guys. Top tip. It listens if you say stop here sometimes. What? A the heavy that make up the what is she on? Hydroponic beds or something? Oh. Hydroponic beds. Uh instant Still. Makes eye contact with. Okay, let's see how this turns out. Okay, I will expand on this. Yeah, I mean, silently did not happen. I was trying to, yeah, that's my wording. That's balloony. Right. Because I might put some of that in. Okay, so it's about 500 words. I want to change this. I want to work. Okay, so I know where I'm up to, and next week I will continue with this. Finishing chapter 6, polishing it up, getting it drunk clauded. Totally a verb now. Does anyone have any questions before I go? I'm happy to answer any questions you've got, um, or anything of the sort. I mean, I'll put this in here. But yeah, any questions to do with what I'm doing, what I'm writing, or anything, to be honest, let me know. Oh, you're very welcome, Kat. Okay, I don't think anyone has any questions. So yeah, I will see you all on Saturday at the normal time. So that's 4 p.m. BST, 11 a.m. Eastern. Oh, you're very welcome, guys. Thank you for showing up and keeping me